I never knew the name of the movie, actually. I just knew that there was a movie with a bunch of gays dancing outside.
And now you're one of them.
Exactly.
Are you there?
Well, my relationship with the material was that I had never read it, and I'd never seen it, and I'd never seen the movie, which made it really exciting, and in parts confusing, but because I didn't have any way to understand certain segments of the story that are, I don't know what you'd call it, thornier, meaner. I don't know, I didn't know how to place it, but it was also kind of the exciting part about it because I knew that it was a puzzle that would be rewarding to try and figure out together. And especially with Joe Mantello directing, I felt very, and I don't just say that to throw his name in there, I really did. I was like, oh, I will let you drive the truck that we go on the journey in this end. That sounds fun.
I think it's easy to dismiss the piece as just a study in self-loathing, but once you go back to 1968 pre-Stonewall life and you see all that was going on culturally and the fact that there was no outlet for this internalized homophobia, self-loathing, other than out towards the people you loved. And I think that's what happens with this group of friends on this night.
And maybe it's a testament too to some sort of like essential queerness that's like captured in this play, but still speaks to us now 50 years later.
Well, and I think that gays don't hold the patent on self-loathing. I mean, I think that everybody goes through that, and I think humanity certainly goes through periods of that, and individuals, and I think Michael, the character of Michael, doesn't represent every gay person, he represents a gay person. So the fact that I think now with some distance and some perspective, you can watch that and look at it as not a symbol for our entire community, but this is a play about 9 people. And that's the bottom line.
It's also way funnier than I thought it might be. I mean, you don't get that in the movie. It's humorous, but with a live audience, you really feel them experiencing the play with us, which is, it's pretty amazing.
Everything about it was and is organic and easy and effortless and really fun. I was unsure about the play actually, and I had misgivings about it, about doing it, and about why, and asked a lot of questions of Joe Mantello and Ryan Murphy, our producer, and of these guys. When we did a reading of it, we did a workshop of it, I had like sidebar conversations to say like, do you feel connected to this? Do you feel inspired by this? Do you feel like this resonates? And it was because everybody said yes that I ultimately was like, well, I'd be a fool to not share in this experience with everybody. And the thought that I wouldn't have done this play and I would have had to come see it is like a total nightmare. And it's really, really moving and really exciting to be a part of it.
It's funny, I find that every marginalized group of people, the first time they have representation, the argument of nobility comes into question. Everyone wants that first thing to be so noble and so perfect so that everyone just accepts us. But I think there's something more interesting about this piece. It is a fully human experience. We have to have ugly, we have to have layers, and we have to have all those shades. And I think now our privilege and the distance we've had from that original production allows us to see the full picture and to not judge it so much. I feel like our version of this show is kind of going to be redemption for the piece, I hope.
Well, when I think about that the play was written in 1967 and had its big debut in 1968, the racial divide that was happening in this country, which isn't too far in certain ways of what's happening right now, was one of my great apprehensions about the play of what does this black man in this all-white tribe, what is his function, what is his purpose? And every night, the audience, depending on which one of the racial comments is made, sometimes it's uproarious laughter, sometimes it's deep devastation. And you realize that we're not as far away from everything as we thought, and yet we completely are, So this journey for me, which is ongoing, is how much has changed and how much has not.
I think part of the reason we go through the journey, the other characters do, is at the beginning of the play, you see Michael's authentic self, which is very similar to, I think, Jim's authentic self. So when he goes far afield, you're willing to go with him and go, come back. That's not you. We know you.
No, I definitely traverse some very dark territory. Not borderline, racist, anti-Semitic. I mean, it's all over the map. But it has been, and this dovetails really off of what Zach was just saying, it has been a chance to explore aspects of yourself and self-doubts about yourself like nothing else I've ever worked on. They're currently living in a world that regards them as freaks, as outcasts, as monsters in some ways, and to varying degrees, they all take that on. And I think the character, Michael, who I play, takes that on in a major way, and he's been trying to spin plates in the air about keeping himself acceptable in society, but also living as authentically to himself as he can. And to say it comes crashing down is a bit of an understatement. But oddly, it's a great joy to get to go through that journey every night. It really is.